Halo, Combat Evolved was the defining title of the first Xbox console back in 2001. Microsoft bet big with their acquisition of Bungie, pinning the hopes of a billion-dollar business on the backs of Master Chief and company. Of course, the gamble paid off. Halo was a huge success, immediately making Microsoft a contender in the home console market. Halo would go on to be one of the best-selling franchises of the decade, toppling industry titans like Mario. Halo also sparked a huge change in gaming and the industry as a whole. It proved the home console could do AAA first-person shooters, and with a controller rather than mouse and keyboard. This fundamental shift is still felt to this day, with the FPS genre dominating the home console market 15 years later, and PC gaming taking a backseat to the Xbox and PlayStation offerings. It is with this understanding of Halo's impact and legacy that I revisit the game. There is little doubt Halo was a huge critical hit back in 2001, but what is it like to play 14 years later? Is the experience still legendary, or has age finally caught up to the Chief? Halo's title screen is perhaps the most iconic in all of gaming. A haunting song plays in the background with chilling vocals and some masterfully orchestrated sound setting the tone for the game. Despite the simplicity, it somehow sounds larger than life and is a piece of music as recognizable as any. After selecting the campaign mode and one of 4 difficulties, we are dropped into the world of Halo. We play the main protagonist, Master Chief, as he is awakened to try and defend a spaceship, the Pillar of Autumn, under attack by an alien race known as the Covenant. The level works as a tutorial of sorts, without being too in-your-face about it. After meeting with the captain of the ship, Captain Keyes, you hook up with an AI named Cortana, jump aboard a life pod, escape the overrun ship, and crash into a mysterious ringed planet. Thus, the name of the game, Halo. Here, the real game begins. Halo is a massive planet-sized structure, and within it are a multitude of different biomes and weather. The opening area is a lush mountain landscape with bright grassy knolls blended with exotic rock formations. This leads to one of my favorite aspects of Halo, how the game makes you feel like you are under attack. You aren't really the aggressor, rather you are simply trying to survive. This is enhanced by wave after wave of enemy dropships, dumping off truckloads of Covenant fighters hell-bent on destroying the human race. After making your way out of the foreign landscape, you discover others have also survived the crash. From here, your goal is to rescue Captain Keyes, who is being held hostage on a Covenant ship. The next level changes things up completely. Here, everything is dark, with the moon or planet illuminating the night sky. Not only is the scenery a lot different, the gameplay drastically shifts. You are given a sniper rifle and rewarded for patience and marksmanship. This leads into another couple things about Halo I really like. First, the game is relatively slow. Even at the time, it was significantly slower than most popular first-person shooters. Next, you can only carry 2 weapons at a time. Not only does this add a bit of realism to the game, it also adds a bit of strategy. It gives something extra to think about. What secondary item do you want with your sniper rifle? If you're stuck with a short-range weapon, it changes the way you attack the aliens, as you have to get up close and personal to down your foes, rather than take a long-distance approach. The life bar is also unique. Before your health is drained, a secondary bar representing your shield will deplete. If you take cover, the shield will regenerate, effectively giving you unlimited health if you manage it correctly. I suspect these elements are how Halo developed its Combat Evolved moniker. After sniping your way through the map, you are beamed up to a Covenant ship to finally rescue the captain. Yet another entirely new set piece is introduced, and the ship has a very otherworldly feel to it. However, it also introduces one of my few issues with Halo. At times, the game is incredibly repetitive. Not only do the 30 to 40 minutes leading up to the rescue of Captain Keyes feel awfully samey, you then backtrack a good portion of the stage again. I could have used a quick cutscene to end the journey, and I don't really need to go through the same corridors all over again to feel like I'm making progress. Still, we can take a few moments to admire the beautiful graphics. At the time, the lighting effects and bump mapping really blew me away. While I love the Dreamcast, it cannot make metal surfaces shine quite like they do here. The architecture also does a wonderful job hiding the limitations of the hardware, using a lot of straight lines as part of the design. I also like the little touches, like how things blur when using the sniper rifle, or how plasma grenades light up corridors. Again, these are things I just did not experience with the Dreamcast and help the Xbox feel like a next-gen upgrade, despite being of the same generation. After finally escaping the alien ship, we're brought back to Halo on an island to find the ring's map room in hopes of ultimately finding Halo's control room. Again, the diversity in the environments really shows through, with the terrain actually feeling like a forest. This level also features some excellent cutscenes, and most in Halo are very well done. The dialogue between Master Chief and Cortana feels very organic, as the two have a genuine concern for humanity, and an almost playful flirting occurring between the two. This playfulness makes both characters very likable, and you want to see each succeed in the real world as well as the digital world. After finding the coordinates to the control room, we're dropped off in an underground network of unnatural caves, and another new set piece is introduced: snow. Perhaps more important than the change of scenery is the constant change in color palette. In many ways, these color changes remind me of classic 2D games from the 90s. Through here, our hero finally makes it to the control room. Cortana warns Master Chief he must stop Captain Keyes from locating a weapon stash, as there is no stash of weapons but something far worse. It seems Captain Keyes kept himself busy after we rescued him. Miraculously, rather than backtracking for an hour and a half, we are dropped right into a swamp area, which is a relief. After making our way through the swamp and some extremely repetitive segments through an endless amount of similar shaped rooms and corridors, Master Chief finally catches up with Captain Keyes and his crew, only something is awry. In another clever cutscene, we are treated to some recorded footage from the captain's mission. Here, the first plot twist is revealed. The crew has accidentally released the Flood. The Flood is another alien race, a mix between parasites and zombies, whose mission is to wipe out all sentient life in the galaxy. The entire situation is even more dire now, as Master Chief has to fight off not one, but two alien races trying to exterminate humankind. This section of Halo is my least favorite. The repetitive sections of the game really start to wear on me, as we have to turn around and make our way back through the entire structure and back to the swamp. It was tedious making our way in, and going all the way back really tested my resolve. After finally making it to the swamp, we are treated to a third alien race, this time mechanical. Their leader is Guilty Spark, who informs Master Chief someone has released the Flood and instructs us to follow him. We must now retrieve the Index, which is a key of sorts used to activate Halo. It seems Halo is some sort of weapon and can be used to eradicate the Flood before they spread to the rest of the galaxy. Historically, it is at this point I turn off Halo. The story is just a bit too love triangle for my tastes, and my attention span wanders. I realize I'm in the minority here, but I just don't have a taste for long drawn-out adventures anymore. But for the sake of this review, I must soldier on. After a couple boring hours making our way through another set piece that repeats far too often and drags on way too long, we arrive at the Index. Guilty Spark then uses his teleportation powers to bring us back to the control room. It is here another plot twist is revealed. Halo cannot in fact take down the Flood, but rather destroys the Flood's food source, so they starve to death. Of course, activating Halo would mean all life in the galaxy, including humans, would be killed. Master Chief and Cortana make a break for it with the Index in tow in search of another solution. This final act of the game returns to the glory of the first. The environments are again varied, aided in part by a change from day to night, a wide array of enemies from the Covenant, the Flood, and the Sentinels, and the designers thankfully scaling back on repetition. Our final goal is also simple. We must destroy 3 pulse generators located in the snowy areas outside the control room. These pulse generators are the source of Halo's immense life-killing power. Cortana believes destroying these will slow down the Sentinel's quest to eliminate all life. Meanwhile, Cortana will search the ring for the crash site of the Pillar of Autumn, the ship our entire adventure started on. The plan is to use the ship's nuclear power to blow up Halo. Everything great about Halo Combat Evolved is found in the final act. The music heard on the title screen is repeated throughout the game, setting the mood for the cutscenes, highlighting tense moments of battles, and cueing in on key story elements. Different instruments are used in different sections, sounding similar yet distinct, and tie the whole game together. While a great soundtrack, terrific gameplay mechanics, and a unique world all come together to create a fun, satisfying experience, what puts Halo over the top for me are the vehicles. Early on, we are introduced to the Warthog, an off-road, quad-steering Jeep of sorts, allowing you to traverse great distances in a short amount of time. Your fellow Marines can even hop in and operate the gun turret. While a bit strange to control at first, using a dual analog setup rather than traditional controls, it is an absolute blast to roam around the massive outdoor areas, running over enemies and trying to squeeze into areas you aren't supposed to. It doesn't end at the Warthog either. A powerful tank is also playable in the snowy area, with a satisfying cannon making quick work of the alien enemies. A couple of Covenant vehicles are also available, with the Ghost being a nimble cruiser and the Banshee allowing you to take to the skies. I cannot stress enough how much fun all of these are, and they help to mitigate the problems I have with the indoor corridor areas being too repetitive. The final thing cementing Halo as one of my favorite first-person shooters is the final level. While I don't find the story as engaging as some, the folks at Bungie nailed the ending. After arriving at the Pillar of Autumn, you must destabilize the nuclear cores to set off a nuclear reaction, obliterating the ring. After setting the plane in motion, you must escape the ship before it explodes. You make your escape in an epic 5-minute Warthog run, mimicking an epic car chase in an action movie. Needless to say, it is the perfect way to end the game. You begin the game where you start, escaping the Pillar of Autumn, and you get to do it in the game's defining feature, the vehicle. So, is the Xbox version of Halo Combat Evolved worth playing today? Absolutely, 100% yes. The game succeeds in a way all classic games do, by being a ton of fun to play. As expected, Halo gets the fundamentals correct. The controls are smooth, aiming is easy, and the levels are laid out in a way where it is impossible to get lost or stuck. But it is the things beyond the fundamentals which make Halo so iconic. The environments and enemy placement all work in harmony with each other to create fun combat situations. Maps are designed in a way where a little bit of exploring will yield a favorable advantage point, yet there are simply few areas of frustration to be found anywhere, and it makes recommending the game to non-fans a no-brainer. Just the idea of a ring-shaped planet is really cool and gave the designers a way to increase diversity, as there were basically no limits to what could be done on a fictional world. Those sick of the same shades of brown and gray should also welcome Halo's wonderful use of color. The progressive ideas put forward are still fresh. The main female lead is strong-willed and smarter than the male lead without being sexualized. The recharging shield allows you to avoid death and keeps the adventure moving forward. The checkpoint system is generous when you fail. The little touches, like having a plasma grenade stick to a foe, or your ability to use every single weapon as a melee item, just never gets old. And of course, the soundtrack is amazing. While the game fumbles a bit with some repetition, it more than makes up for it with a wide array of environments, vehicles, and weaponry. And I'm not even going to talk about the multiplayer, which kept me and 15 friends busy for nearly 2 straight years. Overall, Halo is an incredible game, and I have no problems calling it a classic. 5 out of 5.